Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. This video going to be a wee post-match review of the Celtic 2-0 win yesterday afternoon against Kilmarnock in the Scottish Premiership, a win that puts us back top of the table. The video was a wee bit delayed today because today was a travel day at the start of our holidays. We're in London for a couple of days, then we're off to Lisbon for a week, and then we're back to London for a couple of days, and then back home in time for the Hearts match at the end of the international break. During the international break, I will be doing some videos every 2 or 3 days, and because we're going to Lisbon, we are planning to try and go and see the stadium where Celtic won the 1967 European Cup. And if all goes to plan, we'll do a wee video with some clips or photos from that wee trip whilst we're on our holidays. So today's video about the Celtic Kilmarnock game yesterday afternoon, we'll have a wee review of the action, the key incidents, and the stats, and also my own personal ratings for the players. Before we do crack on with the video, if we are new to the channel, not yet subscribed, please could you click that wee subscribe button, keep the numbers pushing up and up, nice wee bonus for my holidays if we get a few more subscribers to the channel. If you do like the video and do like the channel, please do click that like button, it does help with spreading the video and spreading the channel. And do feel free to pop your pleasant, polite, debating points, thoughts, comments into the comment section. Your own thoughts regarding yesterday's 2-0 win, who you thought played well, not so well, and your thoughts regarding the key incidents. In the end, Celtic got a scrapping, battling 2-0 win. I think personally Celtic actually deserved the win. They took their chances much better than Kilmarnock. They defended overall quite well. They had an excellent performance by man of the match Kasper Schmeichel. And in the end, Kilmarnock failed to take their chances. They did have a couple of good chances. One hit the post, one was well saved by Kasper Schmeichel. And Celtic, however, had less chances, less shots, but got just as many on goal, and critically got 2 of them past the Kilmarnock goalkeeper. First goal for Celtic was 4 minutes into added time. Callum McGregor chipped the ball into the box, intending to land the ball on Adam Ida's foot to volley into the net. The ball slightly evaded Adam Ida, bounced on the artificial pitch, kind of skidded and bounced higher than expected over the Kilmarnock goalkeeper, who, to be fair, didn't really have much of a chance. Had he come for the cross, he almost certainly would have taken out Adam Ida and given away a penalty and a red card. He was never going to get the ball anyway, and once the ball did take a wee bit of a skidding, funny bounce on the artificial pitch, McCrory, the Kilmarnock goalkeeper, didn't have much chance. Second goal, beautiful ball over the top by Alistair Johnston. Nicholas Kuhn showing tremendous amount of pace, cut cleverly into the box. The Kilmarnock defender had 2 choices, letting Kuhn go or pulling him down to give away a penalty. Nicholas Kuhn evaded the challenge, and then a very smart finish curling in at the far post, putting Celtic 2-0 up. Celtic actually had a couple of other good chances to score, which we didn't take. There were a number of rather controversial decisions in the game. Adam Ida was elbowed in the face. The referee chose to give a yellow card rather than a red card, and VAR did not advise any change of that decision. There has been a bit of debate as to whether the Kilmarnock defender meant to elbow Ida in the face or not. For me, it was violent conduct, it was reckless, it had a high level of aggression and force to it, and to me that seems to tick quite a lot of the boxes that Willie Collum talks about on his video when he reviews VAR decisions. However, a combination of Nick Walsh and Don Robertson decided it was a yellow card only. There was another incident in the second half where Rio Hatate caught one of the Kilmarnock players. It was a slightly late and high challenge. However, for me, there was little or no force to it. Hatate was actually withdrawing his foot rather than following through. And I think for all those things, there was mitigation and reasons to leave it as a yellow card and not upgrade to a red card. And again, things that Willie Collum also often talks about in his video are things like recklessness, aggression, intensity, force, violence, etc., etc. And for me, it was a mistime challenge, a bit high, barely touched the Kilmarnock player, clearly didn't cause any injury to the Kilmarnock player. And I think all these factors were ones that Nick Walsh used to come to his yellow card decision. And VAR, after a bit of discussion with Nick Walsh, decided not to change it to a red card or change it for Nick Walsh to come and review the video again himself. And then there was a rather controversial incident later in the game, one of the Kilmarnock players following through, trying to elbow Kasper Schmeichel. Kasper Schmeichel managed to get himself out the way of the challenge, and so the elbow kind of hit Schmeichel in the chest and shoulder area. Had Schmeichel's head been a wee bit lower, it would have been elbow and shoulder right to his head and could have been a very nasty concussion or worse. The referee again left this as a yellow card. Again, for me, that was actually violent conduct. There was a fairly high level of intensity, aggression, and force to it. And for me, that could easily have been a red card as well. So for me, two likely red cards for Kilmarnock. For me, Hatate was correctly given a yellow card. But it will be interesting to see how those three decisions come out in the wash when Willie Collum does his video review. And of course, all those decisions are reviewed by a secondary panel over the course of the week. And so we should know by the end of the week what the expert panel is saying. And later in the month, we'll have the Willie Collum video where he goes through a number of these controversial or debatable decisions. Looking at the stats for the game yesterday, Celtic did have 66% of the possession to Kilmarnock's 34. However, they had 18 shots to our 10. Both sides had 6 shots actually on target. Celtic had 2 off targets, Kilmarnock 6 off targets. Celtic had 2 shots blocked and Kilmarnock had 6 shots blocked, so our defenders managed to block quite a number of their shots. Kasper Schmeichel had 6 saves and McCrory just the 4. Touches in the box were 36 to 22 in favour of Kilmarnock, and corners were 6-4 in favour of Kilmarnock. So I think it shows that Kilmarnock had a lot more of the action in and around Celtic's box. They did try quite a number of shots, many of which were saved fairly simply by Kasper Schmeichel. Many were off target and many were blocked by the defenders. And I think in the end, the quality of Celtic's finishing and the quality of Celtic's play won out, along with the fact that we had twice as much of the ball as them. Finally, just a wee look at my own personal ratings for the players. So I gave Kasper Schmeichel 9 and man of the match. I think he was Celtic's best player, quite a number of good saves, commanded his box very well, organised the defence very well. And for me, this was Kasper Schmeichel's best performance, and he fully deserved the Man of the Match award he got at the end of the Sky Sports game. Given Alice Johnson 7.5, thought he played very well when he was on, defended very well. There was little attack coming down his side. I think he controlled things very well on the right side of defence between himself and Austin Trusty. Didn't get forward quite so much as he often does, but I still think he had a good game, so 7.5 for him. Given Austin Trusty 8 out of 10, I thought he actually had a very good game, defended very well. He worked very well with with Alistair Johnson on the right. seems very calm on the ball. He rarely ever seems rushed. He has good pace to get back to the attacker if the attacker does get past him. And he also, unlike Scales, is not a player who gets muscled off the ball or bullied by big, rough, tough attackers like Vassell and Watkins. So 8 for Trusty, given Liam Scales 6. I thought he had a very poor game. Multiple times he got beaten and bullied off the ball by Vassell and Watkins. Quite a few times he let players in behind. He wasn't very strong in the challenge, not very good in the tackle, a bit nervous and shaky distributing the ball, and he and Taylor on the left-hand side were one of the prime reasons why Kilmarnock had so much of the action and so many shots and chances. It was some poor defending by Scales, and on another day he could easily have been at fault for 2 or 3 goals, was it not for some poor shooting by the Kilmarnock attackers and some very good goalkeeping by Kasper Schmeichel. Given Greg Taylor 5.5, I think he had a rubbish game. He was beaten so many times behind himself, didn't have the recovery pace that's required, and multiple times he got beaten in the air, bullied off the ball, losing challenges, and did struggle to get himself into midfield or into the final zone. And I think it's probably actually his worst game for Celtic in quite a long time. So 5.5 for him. Arne Engels, wasn't terribly impressed with Engels either, and he drifted in and out of the game, didn't really have terribly much in the way of positive contribution, so 6 for him, and he was substituted early in the second half. Callum McGregor, I thought he wasn't quite at his best. Quite a few times he was caught with in possession of the ball. A few times he was slow reacting to the Kilmarnock players. His passing wasn't quite as accurate as usual. However, he did nearly score with a very powerful shot from the edge of the box, and he does obviously score the first goal just before half time. So 7 for Callum McGregor. Thought Rio Hatate had actually a good game. He was the best of our midfielders. 7.5 for him. He had a good contribution right up until just after the challenge, which could have been a yellow or red card. Got taken off then for Luke McCowan to replace him. And I thought he actually contributed very well for the time that he was on the pitch. Nicholas Kuhn, 7.5. Not quite at his best, but he set up McGregor for the first goal and he scored the second goal. And a couple of times he was getting into the box to cross for Ida, etc. But his delivery and crosses and passes weren't quite up to the great standard he's been showing just recently. However, 7.5 for him. 7 for Daizen Maeda. I thought he had actually a good performance. Final ball wasn't so good, not quite getting himself into the box as well as he often does at the back post. However, as always, full of energy, full of tracking back, and so good team performance by Daizen Maeda. 7 for him. Thought Adam Ida was rather disappointing. 6 out of 10 for him. Missed a couple of pretty good chances in the first half. It may be that the smash in the face that caused quite a nasty facial injury that's going to keep him out of the international break for Ireland over the next 10 days. It could be that injury did put him off and did cause some problems with his breathing later in the game, but he was, for me, rather disappointing. So 6 out of 10 for him. In terms of the subs, I've given 6.5 to Kyogo, Anthony Ralston and Luke McCowan. I think they all did perfectly serviceable jobs. Kyogo did have a couple of half chances they didn't take. Ralston, for the most part, defended nicely. He wasn't really beaten by the Kilmarnock left-sided wide players. He worked well with Austin Trusty, so 6.5 for him. Luke McCowan, I think, when he came on, although it was fairly brief at the end of the game, I thought he kept the control of the midfield that Hatate and McGregor had done early in the game. And I thought that he and Paolo Bernardo and McGregor did nicely controlling the game in the last 10 minutes or so. James Flowers, a bit disappointing again. I didn't think he really had very much in the way of positive contributions. I've given 6 to him and 7 to Paulo Bernardo. I think he actually had a nice half hour or so replacing Arnie Engels. He looked more confident in the ball, worked better with Hatate and McGregor, got himself forward, defended well, linked up nicely, some nice passes, some nice interceptions and blocks. So 7 for Paulo Bernardo. Now, you may well all have different ideas as to who played well, who didn't play so well. You may feel I've undermarked some people or overmarked some people, so do feel free to pop your own thoughts and ratings into the comment section. That just about finishes off today's video. There's no other major news at the time of recording, so we'll finish off the video just with a wee polite suggestion, encouragement. Reminder, if you are new to the channel, not yet subscribed, please do click that subscribe button. Do feel free to click the like button if you like the video or like the channel. And comment section, as always, open for pleasant, polite thoughts, opinions, debating points, etc. And so, until the next video, a goodbye and hail, hail.